bit of Muse as I wrote in the update log and did it for a little bit longer. Until now, when then things started diverging too much and starting to get really difficult to get started. Let me check for the... And as always, I started talking and didn't turn on Minecraft yet, did I? Then... just classic Ray, just a classic Ray. Like I was wanting to...
At least you were muted, right?
Yes, I wasn't muted. That would have been worse. Like I just overrode my Docker, my image, my VM image before starting. So I actually wanted to start some experiments, and then I was too fast, overrode an image. There's going to be some darn work to recover that later. What is the name of the block? Basalt. Basalt. Oh, there's a lot of basalt, but no polished one in here. Here? Basalt. Let's polish a bunch of that. Here. And here. Put that in here as well. I think the warehouse needs a sort as well. This is just horrible. It's stock sorted. Nice, this is better. And let me take out some of those here. We're going to be dripping those in lava. My hell, how many eggs do we have in this? How many chicken periods do we have in this colony?
A lot.
Too much. Yes, too much. And welcome Zulani as well. Hi there. So that is here. All those chicken periods. But there's a golden sword together as well. Oh. Hey, Mrs. Builder. Almost throwing me in the lava when walking past by me. She kind of like was like, out of the way! And I was like... pushing me towards the lava.
Builder coming through.
Yeah. Out of the way, out of the way. Yeah, we've started, so we've gotten a pull request today for a wonder building. Which is basically a kind of decorative building with happiness functionality. That's basically it at the moment. And the pull request. And I'm not entirely sure how I'm supposed to feel. I'm always glad for pull requests. We do prefer getting asked first what kinds of things are in the open at the moment. But basically it's an open source project. Anyone can support what they think would be neat, and we'll then decide what we think is the best. Now, but I'm kind of really here and there in relation to the wonder building. We have some wonder stuff planned in the future, which will be more also around the PvP stuff and endgame building, and maybe have some interesting functionality similar to Age of Empires. So we had some general ideas around there.
Yeah, I think it's just too early to introduce one.
Yeah. No, it's just a wonder building, so... at the moment it would be just like a decoration in the colony that increases the happiness value. That's basically all it is.
And if we like add that now, we would have to completely redesign it later when people are used to it.
Yeah. It would maybe have
like
to switch
also make new schematics for different styles for it and such.
Yeah, that's kind of the questions I'm asking myself as well. What a lot of things would change probably. So what I wondered is, what could we do with this? Like potentially it could be just a leisure building. So instead of calling it and this, we call it a leisure building. And we add a data pack to allow adding different, or add a data pack to allow adding different leisure buildings. And then that would serve, and you would have a UI to select one of them, and they would be increasing the happiness. That's one of the things I thought could be made out of this.
Yeah, not too sure. I think increasing the happiness is kinda a bit shallow for this kind of building currently.
If it was a leisure building, then I would also utilize tagging to actually have citizens included in the wander tag to go there.
Yeah.
So that would then be my idea, to use then the leisure building and then extend that functionality to have the citizen walk there. And that would then work for the, so that what you said about the wonder thing, that would then exactly what would work nicely for those hedge buildings, etc. and the beach and hedge schematics, and have citizens then walk to those when they're wandering, when they have nothing to do, basically. I could use the bathhouse of the Asian style for that as well, etc. pp, right?
Yeah.
So that was one of the possible adaptations, where he wouldn't have to throw away what was done, basically. Just have to adjust it. So nice. I think we have now most of this upper area looking fresh. Done. So that's kinda like, what will we do out of this? I'm very unsure. Raven was already like, why are you doing this? Why do you pull request something? Like, no, calm down. Everyone can pull request. Like the JEI compatibility is a super nice feature that was not discussed anywhere else, right? So
Yeah.
anyone can do what they think is the most useful, and the maintainers of the project decide then what they think would fit well.
Also, we do encourage to talk with us first before starting on stuff.
Yes, we do
so
heavily.
That we don't waste a lot of work and we later on say, yeah, we don't want that.
Yes. So yeah, definitely it makes more sense to come talking to us and talk with us about these things. But in the end, it's a personal decision in this case. Not like wearing masks, which is not the personal decision. Hi Andromeda Fallen. So I have to fix up my armor. So I'm going to dump this. I'm going to get some diamonds. I'm going to get some decent armor now. I'm tired of having this. What does a diamond chestplate need? Diamond. This is annoying. This is annoying. I need a leather tunic and a chainmail chestplate for this. Go to hell. I'm going to repair those heavily broken ones rather. Yeah, I'm going to fix those broken ones then. Come on, ain't nobody got time for that. That is upgrade. Where's our chup? Anvil. No, that's not an anvil, that's a hopper. Where's our anvil?
Maybe inside our... No. Don't know. Maybe at our enchanting table?
I don't think so. Maybe our anvil broke. Let me check upstairs here. Nope, not at the enchantment table.
Maybe someone maliciously stole it and hid it away.
Raven? So, what do we have? Unbreaking 3. Protection 3. Unbreaking 3. More unbreaking 3.
Your builder died.
No! Eliana! Why did this happen? Where is this?
Some kind of mob.
I must avenge her.
Not sure.
I must avenge her. So where did she die? 46, 73, 695. 46, 695. Where is this?
Not sure.
Minus 695, 43. Eliana, where were you hanging around? Minus 46. So that is somewhere. Ah, she was upgrading here. Oh, there's piglins in here, isn't there? Yep. There's piglins.
Nice.
There's piglins on our way, on our university. Obviously,
Nice.
the builder was removing the torches, etc., to do the upgrade, which was her end, and that's disappointing. And there's a huge space up here for anything to spawn, basically. Just place a few here quickly, making here a little bit of light. Decrease at least the spawn rate. I guess I have to babysit her up here then, because that is going to be difficult to protect. I have another shroom light here. Do I have some more shroom lights? Nope, but I have coal and sticks. So coal and sticks. I'm going to spread some torches all over the place here, to kind of reduce the chance of the next builder. Ah, above there. That would have been a better idea, wouldn't it? So,
yeah.
But she's going to. I think this is going to be fine-ish for now. We will have to go through the building later again and make sure citizens are not going to die. So you're okay. That is done. Now I have to hire someone for her. I have to find someone. Oh, this bug was basically, by the way, also fixed. The lighting bug of the item icons. Do I have? No. What do you want there? 7 diamonds? Okay. Hello, mister. You are our newest builder that we run. We need to hire him quickly before anything else happens. So, nope. You got already automatically hired somewhere else. Badum. Badum.
So, how is it going?
Badum. Okay, I will fix my armor first. I hope we're not going to lose a researcher until then. And then we will do something else. Now, where's the anvil? That was the question. It's not down here. Do we have some diamond helmet or so around here? No, right? Disappointing. And no anvil either here anywhere.
We got some diamond here.
Diamonds we have, anvil we don't.
Ah.
So I have to make a new anvil.
We don't have any, funnily.
Hmm?
It seems we are out of quartz.
Out of words.
Despite being in the nether. Yeah.
Again, out of words.
At
Okay.
least down here, not sure if upstairs has some.
So I'm going to waste 3 enchantment levels to upgrade diamond gear. That is also disappointing. Here we go. This is so disappointing. And unbreaking on it. So at least we got some halfway decent armor now. Even though it cost us 26 levels. Okay. And we dump this here. Then let me dump a few things here as well. What does she need? Warped roots. She's lacking now. The next builder will be lacking. Now you were looking for quartz for hiring, weren't you?
No, for my builder.
Ah, okay.
Since my builder is still alive, he's needing some materials.
Yeah, just rub it into my face, right? Just rub it into my face. You're nasty.
What, you noticed?
So, let me deliver this to the not existing builder anymore, and I will be getting some. I will be checking on hiring then someone else. First, I'm going to empty those inventory slots. So, I need just an empty rack somewhere. That must be full. Okay, this one here is space. Here, here, here. Here, here. Warped planks and warped roots. Didn't I? Okay, we have warped roots. We have all of that in the warehouse anyway. The next thing to do then is to look for a good person in the tavern, and then we have to. Everyone is mourning. I did improve the mourning AI as well, by the way. And I did find out why they were not sleeping in those beds here. It's because those signs are solid blocks and the citizens would suffocate in the bed. Yes.
Interesting.
They would.
Then I wouldn't go into that bed either if I suffocate inside.
They would suffocate in a sign. Does it make sense? I think I leave that to you to decide.
Well, if you manage to stick yourself into the sign somehow.
Okay. Enchant. So there's no proper person to handle that job. Talking. I still didn't figure out why the guards were teleporting around. We did find out that more citizens mourning when they're mourning. They do stupid teleportations into lava, so let's hope that none of our citizens decides to do that now. Because mourning still uses just finding a random position around them and then going there, which is not a good idea at all. Which should be, which what we replaced it, using pathfinding to find a suitable position, which is now also installed there in the mourning AI. As well as in the other AIs as well. Here. And which one was it? When workers are paused, they would do the same thing. So that is also solved now. And in general, the morning AI should be more lightweight in general, much better. So, that's since Orion is working on this religion kind of system. And that would probably be then the future location for mourning instead of the town hall right now. The one it's a town hall because that's like where everybody meets, right? But yeah, in the future that would be a different building as well. I also need word blocks while I'm on it. Let me cut a few. I'd rather have it a lumberjack do it. I don't want to cut down the trees and the wood around and down things that do not disappear. I hope Minecraft includes that into the next update. It's just so annoying in the nether.
Yeah.
The wood warped blocks. The warped wart. Come on, make it at least closer to leaves. This is super nasty. So, that's a good tree. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't necessarily require a worker. The morning building. I think, since I anyway... Now, while I said we having plans to make the wonders close to Age of Empires, I did not mean that we will completely make everything in our mod as the Age of Empires. We're having some one-day ideas about ages and maybe advancing ages, etc. But that is very future and not even close to thought through and planned out yet. From my perspective, it would be basically just way more work for the schematic designers. So it would be like per age 5 building levels. And then it would advance to the next age building level, but it would just be insane amount of work. So that is very, 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 very future music.
Yeah.
Like 2025, whatever.
Didn't we have a rack with like wool and such?
Yeah, no, it's not a rack. It's a shulker box.
That is.
Right now it's already 250 buildings as is. So adding ages would just triple that, double that per age, right? So one additional age would be then 500 buildings basically. So that's just would be pretty insane. So
I think Luna told us once that we have like about 3,000 schematics or so.
yeah, the total amount of
so
schematics
much.
is a lot. And that was pre-Caledonian style being finished, right?
Yeah, likely more like 4,000 now.
Yeah. Ah, lava. Shoop. So nice. Here we go. So yes, as we said, that is going to be something we will be thinking about more in the future and not right now. The ages. Now we have a higher focus on finishing, on just a lot of polishing, adding things like quests and economy, and then after that adding more combat functionalities, kind of PvP possibilities, autonomous colonies. So there's a lot of things to be done there long before we reach ages and stuff like that. So getting a lot of basalt because we were getting close to not having a lot of basalt. And I think even blackstone we're probably starting to lag as well. So jum. Here we go. What's the matter, catty cat? Our cat is talking. I think he's wanting to go outside. So here we go. Yeah, I think probably we will have to find a nice way to explain him that at this moment, since we are having some future plans for wonders that is more Age of Empires alike, they do not fit our current direction. So here we go. I don't think there's much we could leverage besides that. Most of the code is the boilerplate building code anyway. I did enjoy the model of the building. So yes, the new age would also have to fit in the same footprint, exactly. And then again have the furnaces at the same level potentially. What happens if the rack is a different level and then everything is going to be just pasted over and all these kinds of questions. So of course another alternative would be just reducing the levels and say it's 3 levels per age or something like this. But yeah, it's not something we have planned anytime soon. Things like autonomous colonies, trading quests is way in front of all of that. So filling up my inventory slowly with basalt and reducing my pickaxe to ashes slowly in the same speed. Yeah, quests are going. Sam Letters is working on quests and having quests data pack defined, and that means each person will be able to define their own quests, which I think is quite an interesting feature. So basically, pack owners or server owners will be able to make their own quests and have them appear in game.
Yeah.
So that's I think a relatively nice thing. Those quests, we will add some additional content, we'll have some additional reward interactions with citizens. I think they're going to add a little bit to immersion as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So here we go. Orion is still working on religion, which might be ready one day. I'm mostly working around polishing. The next thing, as I already said, was doing the worker pathfinding, and then I will work more on the modularization. So, yeah, that was also a way I thought about doing ages. Just you have to upgrade a building to get for the building to go to the next age. So you unlock the colony age, and then you can upgrade buildings to the next age as well.
Yeah, that would be kind of similar to what we have currently, only that you
and it would also be
more limited to upgrading.
Would also be a bit more immersive rather than like your entire colony advanced in age, which is like, okay, all the buildings now, just because I researched something, just are different now. But yeah, like age advancement would need different professions as well, would need some more automatic things, some more efficient things, and all these kinds of things, right? So that's why it's a far in the future thing.
Yeah, like quests is next, and after that I think trading and economy.
Yes, quest is the next big thing, then trading, economy, and then much more focus in around PvP and allowing colonies to go to war with each other.
Yeah, maybe even AI colonies before that. Sure.
Yeah, potentially AI colonies before that as well, because those would fit nicely into the potentially trading things, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So instead of trading with random AIs, actually you trade with other colonies.
which actually like do exist and you can visit and stuff.
Yeah, and they produce that stuff actually. So yeah, exactly. There's a lot of unsolved problems. It's like super hard. Like, how would the next age look like for the style, right? How would a jungle age 2 look like, right? Like, most of the styles were designed with one specific, more or less, age in mind. Now, how would a more modern version look like? Probably more exhaust pipes and ovens and furnaces and a little bit more industrial looking. Probably a little bit more steampunky, but yeah, it's definitely difficult. So I went out to get nether quartz and I got 3. So yeah,
That's not much.
Space Wars is already like, depending on how you define it, age 3, 4, 5, 7, 10 style. Yeah, it would also need a lot more decorational blocks, definitely. And welcome Izmir Pillow. Welcome to the stream. I'm running back to the colony to upgrade to fix my tool actually. So, which tool is this here? Fortune 2. So that I can kinda destroy them. It's not my Fortune 3 pickaxe. That is, for some reason, an iron pickaxe. Because fate was choking with me. How hard it's going to be to update to 1.17? That is an excellent question. I think we do not even have close to remotely an answer to yet. Because we do not know yet how things are going to look like caves and mountains, biomes, etc. World gen doesn't affect us a lot, so there's a little bit of work around the miner to be done, and that's basically it, right? So from this perspective, it shouldn't be a lot, but then again, depending on what other things, API changes, etc. they do, which we do not know yet, this might be a very different question. I believe it's going to be more difficult than 1.16. But I believe it will be easier than 1.14. The biggest problem, I don't even know yet. I don't know what kind of back-end things they're reworking at the moment. So I am really as clueless as you on the complexity of that.
Yeah, it's always what I mess up next.
Not even sure. Did other developers already talk about that, about the difficulties? I know Fabric has been working with a few of the things, so they probably know a little bit more about the changes. But it's all like very work in progress on the Mojang side as well. It's like we're only halfway through, and usually what they're doing now is adding new content. And while they're doing it, they're discovering where they will change the API things, right? What kind of things?
API?
Like API, like changes that were like within bigger Minecraft changes, right? Like their own API,
not
basically.
Like they have an API. Right?
Yeah. So basically, what they would mess with Forge, right? And enchanted books, sunflowers, cakes. I have to repair my pickaxe and get more. My opinion on Forge versus Fabric, I think there's a lot of drama around it. I would personally obviously prefer only having one mod loader, because it doesn't divide the community into two camps that will be fighting with each other. Optimally, there should be at least a common runtime, so developers choose if they want Forge or Fabric, and then if players want mods from both sides, they can just run both. That would be probably an optimal solution. I like the commodity Forge ads. I wouldn't want to implement all those things by myself. So we rely in many places on Forge API things, which would be a pain to do ourselves. I would especially talking about chunk capabilities, for example. This would just be a nightmare for us to implement manually. Hi Hugon, welcome to the channel. So there are things that are definitely would be an enormous pain to do manually. Personally, I prefer Forge, even though I think it has its defects as well, community-wise and in general. There should be maybe more focus on getting things to perform better. But then again, it's also the responsibility of the community to look into these things, and no one is putting a significant amount of time into it. Sometimes certain people at Forge can be a pain to work with, but then again, Fabric is just as toxic, if not more toxic, than at Forge. So that's just open source communities for you, right?
Yeah.
And the main difference is that Forge adds a big API to Minecraft to allow you to do all kinds of things, and Fabric is just a lightweight mod loader, I would say.
I know they do have some small API thingy.
Yeah, they have like very small things, but
it's like much smaller than Forge.
In general, it's just a mod loader with here and there some additional commodities. I personally do not think that we could have as heavily modded packs as we have with Forge with Fabric. I think having like a bunch of big mods in a mod pack with Fabric would, because everything is done via mix-ins, would result in tons of issues as we used to have them in the past. So I think Fabric is like nice for lightweight servers, but not for heavily modded servers or bigger mods working together. I think that would... Yeah, Forge gives you more tools to work with, and they add more an API layer, and all the mods interact with the API layer, and Forge makes sure that there is a certain level of compatibility between the mods, basically, so that we do not, as easily as in the 1.7 versions, etc., enter in conflict with. Like back then, it was like significant effort to put packs together. Yeah, I think especially bigger mod packs would be quite a nightmare to create and maintain. Like a mod changes something, it's much more difficult to track things down with mix-ins. Like you have 50 mods hooking into a method, you're not sure which one actually caused a crash. Well, with the event-based system, that is much easier to figure out who is at fault there. But then again, like I said, for small mods that's absolutely fine. For small mod packs too, but for bigger mods, bigger mod packs, it could easily be a nightmare to work with. So there's some people that are working TM on wanting to port Minecolonies to Fabric, but I do not think it is very likely that they will finish a working port ever. Although I do find it courageous, their effort, I do not find it likely that they will finish that.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
And they have to re-implement like most of our container handling, most of our inventory handling, because there are no item handlers, right? They basically have to re-implement item handlers.
All our capabilities.
All our capabilities. Yeah, that's not a lot of fun. All the events we hook into, right, as well. So yeah, I wouldn't do that. I said, not even for $1,000 I would do that probably.
Yeah, it's like you spend a ton of work on it just to get your mods to run on another platform.
Yeah, and then
and
maintaining
you could like spend a lot of work into developing your mod.
Yeah.
And not having to like maintain it on 2 different frameworks.
It would basically double the maintenance overhead as well. And then what happens? 1.17, and we're going to have like 4 branches to work on. That's why I said not even for $1,000 I would do it.
Yeah, it's like always important to keep in mind that we are not doing it as a full-time job, but as a free-time thing.
Yeah. And even if even if it was a full-time job, it was like I would rather add a lot more features for 90% of the players than putting a lot of work into this for 10% of the players and adding a lot of maintenance overhead for the future, right?
Yeah.
And basically, for me, that's like a 20-hour, like easily a 10-hour job, just maintaining a Fabric version. Additionally, 10 hours a week, that is. Porting all the pull requests, fixing Fabric specific bugs, checking if the bug is Fabric specific or just in general, testing bugs in both versions, testing fixes. That's easily 10 hours, if not 20 hours. If not 20 hours. I already is like, when we have 2 versions, I already spend 3 hours sometimes per week only on porting things over. And like I said, at the moment we're at the level where I would be spending already easily 5-6 hours per week on porting pull requests over. 3D models. Now that is now the question. 3D models entity-wise or 3D models block-wise? Because those are 2 very different things. The block models are all JSON models actually, which we use Blockbench for. Basically the best tool for that. And they're exported as JSON models, are super easy to work with. Sometimes I have to do some manual stuff around it to make it multi-layer models. Not sure if Blockbench added support for that yet. But those are relatively easy.
They did actually.
They added? I have to look into that.
I don't remember hearing that.
Because Imri is doing a complete repass on all our blocks at the moment. And trying to replace like cleaning up models, making the models more lightweight. Like sometimes there's like 4 renderable boxes in something that could be used 1 box for. Trying to replace textures we're using with vanilla textures for better texture pack compatibility and these kinds of things. So that's what she's currently working on. And she did run into multi-layer models that wouldn't load in Blockbench, and I guess you would need a plugin for those to load probably.
Yeah, that might be. And Node has some plugins you can use.
Yeah. Then there are the entity models, which are all Java models actually, and we do them all also in Blockbench, although that is with a specific plugin as well. And those are then exported as Java models. Unfortunately, object models are not supported yet by Minecraft. We did look into implementing it ourselves, but it was quite a lot of work to do so, and so we ended up not finishing that. At least I've got a stack and a half of nether quartz now. So, picking up some hanging around logs as well. But yeah, there's the two types. Does Minecraft Java only run on a single core? Yes and no. So, there's the main server thread. So there are different threads in Minecraft as well. So networking runs on its own thread. The client runs on it. The rendering runs on its own thread. What else? I think that's most of it, right? There's an IO thread as well, as far as I know.
Yeah, some chunk loading generation stuff has its own thread as well.
There's here and there some other threads, but the main threads is really there's one main thread that runs basically all things you see in the world, the stuff our citizens do, the things you're seeing running around, all the entities, mining
except
blocks,
our pathfinding.
Except our pathfinding, which we did ourselves, pulled to a different thread. So our pathfinding we did ourselves move to a different thread, just because pathfinding on the main thread is just stupid. Ahem, Mojang, I'm talking to you. Who puts pathfinding? Like 30% of vanilla lag is citizens, villagers trying to pathfind on the main thread, by the way. So that runs mostly on a single thread, and you get the rendering on a different thread and networking. Basically the main things on different threads. As far as I know, the other editions are not much better than that in this regard. They are not much greater thread-wise, as far as I've heard and looked into. It's still most of the things on the same thread, and then they have here and there some better things. But as far as I know, it's most of the things on the same thread as well. But yeah, Mojang thinks it's a good idea to run everything on the same thread. It also would require significant rework. I think the Bedrock version is mostly more efficient on the FPS side, actually, rather than actually the world things. So actually, as far as I know, the Bedrock version is more efficient because they do a lot of hacky stuff with chunks. So they have like, they tick things less. So they are more like, they have some optimizations rather than it being written significantly better. But the only thing that as far as I know, is really better is than the rendering stuff. Which is, obviously I would have never done rendering stuff in Java as well. Like business logic in Java, okay, yes, I agree with it. It's more maintainable than most things. And if you code things well, they're actually not super slow compared to popular knowledge. You can code things well in Java as well and have it fast enough. as you can see with Minecolonies, right? We are on a single thread and there's a lot of things happening and it works fine. If we had our own game and did it in Java, although I would do it in C#, it would also run fine even though it being in Java. But I think the main reason it runs better is that they do some additional hacky stuff. Or optimizations, you can call it as well. That Java Edition doesn't have. So... does Java being on C++ help? I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not sure. Like I said, you can do things badly in C++ as well. So C++ makes it probably more difficult to maintain it potentially, and unless they didn't use all the hacky performance hacks, which then again the performance is not so big. Like 90% of why Minecraft is slow is because it's badly done and not because it's done in Java. Minecraft is slow because Notch didn't know Java when he coded it, so that's already a bad place to start from, and they never really cared about performance, so they're just things. They're just like, oh, a new entity, let's just do all the things. Let's have the entity do all the things instead of really focusing on, okay, let's try to make this entity efficient. Let's make it perform well. And since they're not doing that, that's why it's performing badly, not because it's done in Java. And since they do the same design decisions in C++, I don't think that it performs better because of C++. Come on. Magma cubes, jump too high. You jump too high, my friends. Come on, zombified piglin running into my arrow point. Aye. No, don't worry, we enjoy having something to talk about as well. So... yeah, but if I made a game right now, I would do it in C#. Basically has
I think C# is a nice middle solution.
It's like a maintainable language. And at the same time you have a little bit of lower access to things and can do a few things more efficiently. So I think it has like the nice trade-off stuff. Plus, you can use a lot of C++ and C libraries in C# as far as I know. There's some nice compatibility layers there. Are you a developer? Izmir Pillow. So... I got a lot of nether iron ore while getting the nether quartz.
We do have some quartz in our warehouse actually, I saw.
I'm getting a bunch now, just to have it stocked for a bit. So... so you like tinkering with code. You wouldn't describe yourself as a developer, but you do like tinkering with code. Hey, if you're interested, we always enjoy new people in our team. So Java is a relatively easy language to work with and to start in. What it needs is basically a little bit of insisting reading things, checking into things. It is not very difficult to contribute something to Minecolonies. Plus, of course, there's a bunch of, if you're artistically talented, unlike me and Sam Letters, there's a lot of textures and stuff that can be done as well. We always have, for example, bounties on making texture sets for additional colony cultures, for example, right?
Yeah.
So, oops, was hitting away the mic again while I was scratching my ear. Yeah, I'm also have like 2 left legs where my arms should be in an artistic sense. I do code, I don't do art. But yeah, people have different talents, and I'm good at this, and other people are good at other things, right? So here we go. Chip chip chim. Yeah, I think I'm fine now and stuff. Can I jump? Nope, I can't. So where's the colony? Over here. And I want to go to the miner now. I got a bunch of logs. I know that the miner was requesting things. My chapter is getting deep as well. So, actually, art is a lot about insistence as well. Like, I've seen a bunch of people, a lot of people talking about this. Actually, doing all these drawing things is actually sitting down 2 hours, 3 hours per day, every day, and drawing, basically. Like, I saw a guy on a Discord, for example, that didn't know how to draw, like, not as badly as I, but didn't know how to draw, and did basically a drawing challenge for himself, where he would draw every day, and he ended up drawing some really neat things in the end. So it's really about persistence. Or not all of it, but there's a lot of course there's talent as well, right? It's easier for some people compared to others, but it's like everything in life, right? There's talent for everything. And my father actually draws pretty well, especially in terms of like technical stuff, like drawing a motor, drawing a car, and these kinds of things. He's actually pretty good at that. My sister is also relatively good at drawing. But I just suck badly. Like I'm bad at drawing stick figures, but it's also because I never had patience to just sit and redo over and over and over the same thing again, right? I just don't have the perseverance for that. I do it once, I redo it once, and then I'm going to take some space and redo it maybe in a few months from now. That's the thing of code, right? You code it, you know you're going to maybe have to redo it in the future, but you can keep it like that for now. I'm going to revisit this in a few months or so. And I don't have to redo the thing over and over again. So, some more planks in here as well. And now I'm going to try to hire a builder. Yeah, it's like an experience multiplier talent, exactly. But yeah, I think it's still 90% of what we see is persistence. It's like, and like we have the things. Oh, they're great actors, and it's like, of course they're great actors. Their insane parents were taking them to acting classes since they were little kids and bothering those poor children, which should be, in my opinion, be called child abuse and child labor, to be in all kinds of different spots. And the same thing for singing. It's like rarely even the top famous singers, actually they're not super talented. They were just put into singing school since they're little with an insane insistence on that, right? On parents wanting their kids to be famous and all those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And the result is basically that. Yay, we got a new miner. Evelyn?
Hey.
Hey, Evelyn. So yeah. She started working. Nice. Only needing some more planks, but not a lot. Neat. And welcome lol m drum as well. Welcome to the stream. Hello there. So I will go here. I will just make sure there are no zombified piglins hanging around here. And there are. There are actually zombified piglins. Now I aggroed them. I think the citizens are going to be safe for a little bit. So, but yeah, in general, most of the things are like that. So, even coding is, there's a lot of insistence. A lot of people that code just like enjoyed doing it when they were kids, and then spend a lot of times on their computer looking into these things, making little applications and stuff, and ended up becoming good in what they're doing. So are you spreading yourself too thin? Yeah. Doing too many things usually results in not being able to do all of them very well. But actually a lot of indie game developers, they do the 3D stuff and the coding stuff pretty well and focus on them. So it's also definitely possible. It just requires significantly more work, right?
Yeah, for sure. Doing both is difficult.
Yeah, it's super hard. And I believe a lot of these people actually did a lot of art when they were children. So they became really good at drawing and stuff. And then they started going into coding as teenagers. So they kind of had like 15 years of drawing as kids, and then had like a bunch of years as teenagers to get into coding, and that's why they're able to do both. I spent most of my time reading and playing Lego when I was a kid, and then I went into coding afterwards. So, but I think one of the things that helps a lot is probably having like a good schedule, right? Like, okay, I'm not going to do just random crap, but I'm going to actually like 3 hours a day I'm going to focus on coding, 3 hours a day I'm going to focus on drawing, or one day I'm going to focus 6 hours on this and the other day 6 hours on that, and doing something like nicely focused on it. I think you're much more likely to succeed rather than having like no real schedule, trying to wing it. But yeah, I prefer like I know my limitations. I focus on code. I get other people, artists, to focus on the design things, and I think that works very well for me. I also want to go more, because I'm more of a back-end developer as well. So I want to focus my career more around bigger systems, research, etc. Since I'm doing PhD as well, rather than game development. So I don't have really a need for any art stuff either. Yeah, all those people at animations, they start drawing very early and a lot. And of course, there's a lot of things of encouragement of the parents as well, right? Parents saying, no, the kid is enjoying this a lot, I'm going to encourage them to do it more. But unfortunately, art is like super badly paid, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the shittiest art is paid the most, right? Like abstract stuff and weird modern things that's just like 3 lines on a white sheet of paper, and because my parents are rich, this is now worth $1 million.
Yeah, that's how it works.
But then again, that's just capitalism making sure to maintain the status quo. Rich people making sure that kids, whatever they do, will be successful in. Meanwhile, when poor people do the same thing, they're just like selling a latte at Starbucks, right? So I'm going to stand around here. Yeah, it's absolutely insane, those weird abstract paintings selling for millions just because the guy is somewhat famous or whatever. In this regard, one of the few people I respect is this street artist. What is his name again? This famous street artist that's shredding his images.
Not sure.
The one that made the famous Banksy. Yes, Banksy, exactly. That's one of the popular artists I subscribe to. I like this guy. But he's also kinda anti-capitalist, definitely. If not even anarchist. Although I do not subscribe to anarchism. I do enjoy his stuff. But it's because you really see it. First, it looks nice, it looks like art. And second, it has really a message. You look at it and you see the message of it. You don't need a 20-page text explaining you how deep the white canvas is. Nice, this is progressing. 39%. The builder must be coming soon again. Where are you? No. I go up again quickly before this one. Here, Evelyn is here. And it criticizes the society we in. And I think that is like the main... one of the main tasks of the arts in general is criticizing the status quo, right? And that is from paintings to music to literature. That's what literature has been doing for a long time. Like I really started enjoying Kafka after finishing school, because it's also they put also the worst books of his in the school. Did you have to read the process of Kafka?
No.
It's just such a confusing book, but it's also because the book, first of all, the book wasn't finished. So there are things missing, and then we do not know the exact order of the chapters either. So there are chapters missing, and we don't know the intended things, but we still read it a lot. Now there are some things in it
that surely makes for a good like school book to read.
Yeah, exactly. So there's some things that are interesting in it. So he's basically criticizing bureaucracy and how kind of bureaucracy hides absurdities, right? Like they send you to 50 processes. So like, yeah, you have to go to prison because of something stupid. And then you have to go through, like, even though it's stupid, you need like 50 bureaucratic processes to prove that it's stupid. So you will go to prison. And this is the university level 3 now. So that's relatively interesting. But there are a bunch of better books, like the Metamorphosis, for example, of Kafka, where he wakes up one day as a huge insect, like a cockroach, and has like huge problems with his family and all these kinds of things. And that one was finished while he lived, right? So it makes more sense as well. But in general, the messaging, etc., is also pretty nice. But Kafka was, in general, very criticizing capitalism quite a lot, and that was back then. It was just as bad as nowadays, just with, I would say, a little less degenerated super rich people. Yeah, it's on one hand it makes, of course, sense. It's like a lot of artists were not recognized during the lifetime because they were just not well known, and then after they died and their family went into to see their stuff, they were like, oh wow, holy moly, what is this? So there's that, obviously, but obviously it's also family members like, oh, this stuff is neat, I think I could sell that well, and then rich family members or so trying to sell this stuff, right? There's always that. Like Kafka didn't want his stuff ever to be published. He wanted his stuff to be burned after he died, for example. So he didn't even want to be famous, he didn't even want anyone to read it. He just did art for the sake of art. But obviously nowadays, art is much more corrupted by capitalism, I would say. We're almost finished here. I think it's only missing the decorative items. So... Hello. It's kinda like a staircase here. Kinda staircase, not staircase. So, I guess you're replacing... Yeah, Van Gogh, for example. But it's also because, for example, Van Gogh's paintings are not... I wouldn't call them utterly beautiful or something like this. It's not a Michelangelo, right? Where you see it and like, no, this is just insane, right? Van Gogh got more famous because it was because after some time, etc., historians discovered that what he did was very different from what others did. And then others got inspired from what he did, which made him even more famous after death, etc. So there's a lot of things around that as well, right? Like, which is sometimes similar. No one knows the guy that invented Unix, right? Even though most of the things nowadays run on it, but everyone knows the Apple guy. That I forgot again the name of. that basically only did the design part of it. Or a lot of people know Jim Cook, for example, that just does the management part of it. Steve Jobs, exactly. I always forget that name.
Yeah.
Everyone knows. At least Bill Gates did a bunch of did the Microsoft stuff, or the basic things. But a lot of things we do not know the initial creators, and who gets famous, like all the Elon Musk stuff, for example. Where Elon Musk gets famous for the stuff scientists invent, not he invents. Scientists invents. By the way, I do think the Hyperloop is never going to be feasible for people transport, and that's why he ditched the idea as well. Come on, it's way too impractical. You need like a huge area of vacuum, which like the biggest vacuum chambers in the world are like super small. You need a like huge area of vacuum. Then such a huge vacuum creates just an enormous gravity pressure on top of it. So that's another thing. And then if something crashes in the Hyperloop or something like that, the pipe crashes, the vacuum falls, just not practical. I think Hyperloop could be practical for transport of stuff. Like there's a project that wants to implement Hyperloop for sending around objects in harbors, right?
Yeah, maybe.
I think for that it could be interesting. But not for people. I think that is not a smart idea at all. So we got a raid.
Yeah.
And the building is not finished yet. And now I have to place all over the torches again. That's all magma wastes here. Yeah, then there's how you're going to make those things earthquake proof. Then the earth moves. Then there are other things that move, and it's like, and that all of that with the trying to maintain a vacuum. I don't think that is very likely to succeed. Yeah, the fence issue has been fixed in the newest version as well. And Bene1, thanks a lot for the raid. Highly appreciated. Magma waste here again. More magma wastes. Trying to kinda cover a few of the grounds here, so that the builder doesn't straight away dies again. Here's magma wastes as well. Magma wastes. There's a lot of magma wastes in here. So warped. There's a little bit of magma wastes as well. Here's magma wastes as well. I think that's most of it now. So, and welcome Basti, thanks a lot for your follow, highly appreciated. Welcome there. I think that's it for today. I'm also getting hungry. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. We will be streaming tomorrow again, so don't forget tuning in tomorrow for the next episode of HellColonies. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thanks a lot for everyone for engaging in the chat with us. If you want to support Minecolonies, consider becoming a Patreon, getting access to this neat little server and a few other perks, and a few more perks to come in the future. We are currently working on getting ready. We do coding streams here and there, but not so often. Orion does them more regularly. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. As said already, consider following the channel because that's a free way to support us. Consider hitting the kind of bell button, or on YouTube the bell button and the subscription to get updated about the videos. Good night everyone, see you around. Thanks for tuning in, Sam, for being with us here as well. Good night everyone, see you around, see you tomorrow, ciao ciao.
Good night.
So night, ciao ciao.
Night.